Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order this regular City Council meeting of the City Council of the City of Joliet for Tuesday, July 1st, 2014. We have invocation by Associate Pastor Mick Murray of the Crossroad Christian Church located at 1451 Black Road here in Joliet, after which he will lead us in the pledge to the flag. Can we all stand, please?
Hello. We pray with me. God, we come to you right now and just thankful for everyone in this room, and just pray that through this meeting that you would just give everyone here wisdom, not just for the things that need to be decided on for today, but for future generations. We're thankful that you still care about this city, that you are God of this city. For that, we just want to honor you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you, Pastor.
We'll start with roll call. Mayor Durrani.
Here.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Here.
Councilman Girl.
Here.
Councilman Hug.
Here.
Councilman McFarland.
Here.
Councilman Morris.
Here.
Councilman Odekirk.
Here.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Here.
Councilman Turk.
Here.
First is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written with the following change, the removal of Council Memo 314-14?
So moved. Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Odekirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Mayor Durrani.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next, council committee reports. CTIS committee report.
CTIS met a couple weeks ago, and Bob Navarro from the Visitors Bureau gave us an update on the marketing, and he's here tonight to present a short presentation.
Councilwoman Coleman, would you like him to present that now or later under presentations?
Well, you know, it's up to the mayor. What would he like to do? Would you like to under committee reports? Because he's on the agenda for later as well.
I don't have
so.
any problem if you want to do it now. Robert? Sure.
Are you ready for it,
Are you
or
prepared?
do you need a minute?
Oh, I'm good.
Okay. All right, well, thanks for having me back. I appreciate it. I'm here to give you an update about the summer marketing campaign and some of the initiatives that we as a Bureau are working on for your behalf. So the summer media campaign is called the City of Excitement. That's Joliet. And it is a co-op marketing campaign where we went out and approached partners to come in and match some of the dollars that the city put into it, along with some of the dollars that the Convention Bureau put into it. And so a lot of our media efforts will have a variety of images in them, and this is a sample of one of the advertising pieces that we put together, highlighting some of the media partners. So just to recap, the CVB partnership includes some international tourism opportunities. We talked about that last time I was here, so I'm going to give you an update on some of those initiatives and how, what some of the return on investment is of some of those initiatives. I'm going to give you an update on the media campaign, show you some of the video commercials that are airing online, and then we're also promoting some of the Joliet events, working with some of the Joliet partners that are part of the campaign to promote some of the events that they're having to help generate visitors and interest in some of those locations. With the international marketing initiatives, we are actually partnering with Brand USA, which is, so I'm the Convention Bureau for Will, Grundy, LaSalle counties. Brand USA is the Convention Bureau for the United States, promoting the United States and other countries, so we can leverage some of their dollars that they have through a public-private partnership, so that it's not coming from taxpayer dollars. It's coming from a visa tax when international visitors come to the U.S., and then that's matched with major corporations like your Disney and United and American Airlines, and then also small bureaus like myself. We can match some of those dollars. And so our Brand USA partnership allowed us to extend our international marketing budget by about 33%. So that's pretty significant for the little guy here in Illinois to have the leverage of Brand USA. One of our initiatives with Brand USA and through the international program is that we placed an ad promoting Route 66, traveling America's Main Street here in Illinois. We placed an ad in Horizon, which is the travel publication for the New York Times. That travel publication is inserted or mailed into households in the New England area as well as in Canada. So we were able to reach the Canadian market talking about Route 66 and talking about that here in Illinois. Other print publications that we did with Route 66 was the Route 66 magazine, American Road magazine, American Journal, which is in language. It's actually translated into German. And then the Illinois Route 66 Visitor Guide, the Chicago Visitor Guide. The reason why the Chicago Visitor Guide is significant because they actually mail to 5 different markets, Detroit, Michigan, Indianapolis, St. Louis. So there's different markets that they mail their guide to because they polybag it with the magazine of that city. So like in Chicago, we have Chicago Magazine. So whatever the Detroit magazine is, they're actually promoting the Chicago market with that city's magazine. And so that was a great buy for us to be able to be partnered with the Choose Chicago Visitor Guide, and then obviously the Illinois Office of Tourism Visitor Guide. Most of those publications also have an online component, so they can click different ads that they see online and go right into a website and get local information from us. And then also we did do some promotion of Route 66 in the area at some trade shows. The trade shows usually generate some interest where we're bringing tour planners and travel writers here to the area, and we take them on fam tours where we actually show them some of the attractions. We take them out to the Speedway and get them into a car going around the track, or we take them into the museum and take pictures with them with the Blues Brothers. So I think the picture on the top right there is a fam tour that we hosted from France. And they were very much interested in some of the gaming, sporting opportunities that we had. And obviously, they think we're very close, well, we are close to Chicago, but they still consider the Chicago land, so they didn't see us as being outside the city of Chicago. They were surprised at how close everything was. And so we did several fam tours as a result of some of our trade shows. This video, I'm going to talk over it because there's no music or sound. But this is, you'll see a copy of our Horizon ad, and this was the travel magazine that we partnered with New York Times. So it was actually 2 different issues. This is one of the issues, and you'll see the ad there on the right-hand side, Travel America's Main Street in Illinois. You see the picture of the Joliet Area Historical Museum in the bottom left. And then part of this buy, we were able to get video there in Times Square. So you'll see Chicagoland Speedway, and the Joliet Area Historical Museum, and that aired for a week in Times Square, and that was just kind of a bonus they threw in because of our relationship with Brand USA. So we had video playing in Times Square, which is exciting. Also with Brand USA, we created 3 different videos. Again, I'm going to talk over this one a little bit because this is in German. Anybody knows German, you can translate it for me, but I'm assuming that they followed our scripts and highlighted the area. We actually did 3 videos, one in German, we did a UK version, and then a Canadian version.
Kommen Sie mit mir auf eine unvergessliche Reise entlang Amerikas Hauptstraße, der legendären Route 66. Hier in Illinois nimmt sie ihren Anfang, diese Mutter aller Straßen.
So that video is used in country because it's in language. So Brand USA, when they are directing people to their website or they're doing advertising in country in Germany, and people are requesting information about Illinois, Route 66, they would then push out this video or clips of this video in language to their consumers. So it's great to have that product. It's also housed on our website, and we use it for some fulfillment as well. I'm going to actually play the entire version of the UK version because we will understand that. Here we go.
Chicago is such a wonderful place to visit, but traveling down America's main street, Route 66, in Chicagoland's largest playground, shows Illinois in a whole different dimension. One of the first stops to make is Joliet, which has an abundance of activities and attractions to entertain the whole family. Welcome to Illinois. My name's Jody, and I'm going to highlight for you some of the best the state has to offer, along and beyond Route 66. Just outside Joliet, in Romeoville, you will find the White Fence Farm, family-owned since the 1920s. The secret recipe, and always cooked fresh, helped earn the restaurant the title for World's Best Chicken. Also in Romeoville, stop by the historic Fitzpatrick House, home to photography exhibit on the Illinois and Michigan Canal, as well as Route 66 information kiosk. Here you can learn about other famous Route 66 landmarks, including the iconic Gemini Giant and the Polka Dot Drive-In. Welcome to the Joliet Area Historical Museum, where you'll find state-of-the-art presentations, touchscreen exhibits, and even a lunar lander simulator that you can step inside of and guide your way to the surface of the moon, just like the 1969 moon landing. Next, visit the Rialto Square Theatre. This theatre is absolutely stunning, with marble walls and European architecture that is breathtaking. And it still hosts a multitude of concerts, plays, and some stand-up comedy. Only an hour outside of Joliet is the must-see Starved Rock State Park, which was voted Illinois' #1 attraction. Sitting on the south bank of the Illinois River, Starved Rock State Park is home to endless trails, seasonal waterfalls and canyons, and the tall bluffs are a complete contrast to the usual flatlands of Illinois. On the river, you can kayak, jet ski, paddleboat, fish, or rent a houseboat for a couple of days. There are places to camp, hunt, and horseback ride, and an abundance of wildlife and events year-round. It also offers several restaurants, an historic lodge and conference center, and a trolley so you can enjoy the park any way you like. These are just a few of the incredible places you must visit as you make your way down America's main street in Chicagoland's largest playground.
So we've moved away from the Heritage Corridor CVB.com website because the visitor, the traveler, that's not really going to resonate to them. We're going to use that more as a business-to-business connection. And for these international ads and videos, we're using Chicagoland's largest playground. And the reason we've chosen that is the entire region, the 4-county region, is over 3,600 square miles of outdoor recreation, entertainment, gaming, sports, a variety of things that people can do in the area. So I'm going to move into the summer campaign, and the Joliet summer campaign, the components that we have committed to doing for you, the staff have done the campaign development, meeting with the creative folks, identifying which media would be appropriate for the demographic that our co-op partners are interested in, placing those media placements, signing those contracts, negotiating out those rates and that sort of thing, and then the campaign fulfillment. There are several opportunities throughout the campaign where people can request information about Joliet, and then we send them a visitor guide with rack cards and other information from the partners. And so last summer we sent out over 17,000 visitor guides just from the Joliet campaign. We're trending to be about that same number this year, probably be closer to 16,000, but we're trending about the same number. So with the campaign development, we have 12 partners in this year's campaign. It's about a $216,000 value. That's not actually how much we're spending. We're spending $165,000 on media, and then the CVB is bringing about $51,000 into the campaign based on our contacts and other media that we're buying for other partners, whether it's other cities or other attractions. We're able to provide some added value to the campaign. So it's a great partnership between us and the city of Joliet. Campaign elements include print, video, and certainly online components, and then the fulfillment. Some of the media placements that we did a full 2-page spread in the June issue of Chicago Magazine where we highlighted some of the events that the partners had, and then we followed that up with the July issue with a full page ad in that as well. To kind of promote what we do locally, we did a water bill insert in the month of May, so every Joliet resident received information about the campaign and their water bill, and then we're following that up the month of July as well with the water bills. So one side would be campaign partners, and the other side is just general campaign. We're doing some bus wraps, about an 8-week program of some PACE bus wraps in some different communities to try to generate some interest in our late summer attractions like the Slammers as well as the Chicagoland Speedway and Route 66 Raceway. We did an ad in the Illinois Getaway Guide that actually produced leads. People checked off a box or went online and requested information about the area. And then the campaign was really anchored through video, and we had video this year on Comcast, Dish, and Uverse. And so the Dish and Uverse opportunities are new from last summer. We have not had those. So we are actually on all three. So if anyone in the market has one of those three cable providers, they're probably seeing some of our commercials, some of your commercials. Here's one of the general spots that we created for the campaign.
The City of Champions.
The City of Entertainment.
The City of Fun. That's Joliet.
Joliet's the place for great entertainment, fun with friends, and the best attractions. From high rollers to hospitality, to home runs and history tours.
See you in J-Town. That's Joliet.
For your free Joliet Visitor's Guide, call 1-877-4-JOLIET and plan your next Joliet adventure today at visitjoliet.com.
The City of Parks. See you in J-Town. That's Joliet.
Illinois, mile after magnificent mile.
We actually created 3 spots for the campaign this summer. This was a general spot that we use depending on which programs we're airing. We have a sports spot and then a gaming spot. So I'll show you the sports one as well.
The City of Excitement. The City of Champions. That's Joliet.
Catch great baseball action with the Joliet Slammers. It's a home run for the whole family. And rev up your summer at Chicagoland Speedway and Route 66 Raceway. Your fast tracks to fun. For your free Joliet Area Visitor's Guide, call 1-877-4-JOLIET and plan your next Joliet adventure today at visitjoliet.com.
The City of Excitement. That's Joliet.
See you in J-Town, Illinois, mile after magnificent mile.
So these are short, quick, 30-second spots. Some of them are online, some of the online advertising that we're doing, and others are actually on air.
Joliet, the City of Excitement.
The City of Entertainment.
That's Joliet.
Joliet is the place for fun. Harrah's Joliet has your favorite games, the Reserve Steakhouse, and luxurious hotel rooms. Hollywood Casino Joliet. Enjoy blockbuster hits, great food, and A-list service. For your free Joliet Area Visitor's Guide, call 1-877-4-JOLIET and plan your next Joliet adventure today at visitjoliet.com.
The City of Fun. That's Joliet.
Illinois, mile after magnificent mile.
So those are all 3 spots that we're airing this summer. Also, as part of the campaign, we're creating individual partner spots, and these are individual 30-second spots that we're working with the partners on what content that they want to have. They can use that video spot for their Facebook, social media. They can put it on their website, however they'd like to do it. And we've got 8 spots scheduled to be created this summer, and then last summer we actually had 9 spots as part of the campaign. Other activities that we've touched on your behalf is promoting Star Wars Day. I'm sure you've read some of the articles or seen some of the press. It was absolutely outstanding this year. We had over 7,000 people come to Joliet Star Wars Day. Also, the Slammers started their Star Wars night on Friday night, and then we had the Joliet Public Library doing their Star Wars Day on Saturday. And I think the Joliet Area Museum saw record attendance of over 4,000 people that day as well. Red Carpet Corridor is a promotion of the Route 66 area from Joliet to Pontiac, and we help promote that at the Joliet Museum as well. Just on that day alone, we knew we had 11 countries visiting the Joliet Area Historical Museum and visitors from 12 different states. So that's really impressive to know that it's really, truly an international destination. We also partnered with the city on promoting with ABC7, the train getaways, and then we brought the morning show. Some of you were part of that morning show spot that we did out in front of at the Rialto. This last weekend, we brought Make It Move from Cartoon Network to the Slammers and tried to generate some interest in some of the Slammers games with some activities for kids. The Make It Move is completely set up by Cartoon Network, and it's very physical. It's a very inviting activity for kids to participate in. And we help promote the new event, Nitro Night, seemed to go well for a first-time event. And then we're staffing the visitor center at By Park. Then we did provide some smaller grants to some of the partners to help them to get some printing, whether that was Will County Lodging Association or Bicentennial Park. We were able to help them do some printing that they couldn't afford to do on their own. I'm going to try to pass this one up.
Receiving the Lincoln Award for promoting.
Okay. One of the other things that we did on your behalf is we coordinated the IHSA State Baseball Tournament. And if you haven't heard by now, that's really remarkable. We had 8 teams spend about 3 days and 2 nights in the area. We had an estimated spectator attendance of over 9,000 people that came to the area. And I know Chris and I personally worked the tickets and checked people in and asked them where they were from and if they had been to the park before. Most people had not, so it was a great way to showcase some of the amenities and attractions that the city of Joliet has to offer. And then that we estimated the economic impact based on the teams that stayed. We had 5 of the 8 teams actually stay in local hotels. It was about $354,000 based on hotel expenditures, food, gas, those kinds of things that those teams were spending in the area. And then we continue to promote the destinations for meetings, group tours, and then the sports huddle. I just want to mention, partnering with Scott Paddock and his staff at the Chicagoland Speedway, we brought sports rights holders to Joliet to highlight the Chicagoland Speedway and the Route 66 Raceway. And we were able to bring people to Illinois that hadn't been here before, get them into one of our attractions, and then Dale Jarrett, a NASCAR Hall of Famer this year, actually did a meet and greet and signatures and photo opportunities and that sort of thing. And at the end of the night, he drew out 9 names, and he actually drove them around the speedway. And so 9 people were able to ride in a car with Dale Jarrett as your driver, and so that we really created some wonderful memories here in Joliet with our sports rights holders. And we're still getting thank you notes and interest from that event that we just did in the beginning of June. Also want to mention real quickly, we do have a partnership with the Illinois Office of Tourism. Illinois Office of Tourism has engaged in this Mini Abe campaign, and Mini Abe is online, and he is also on ads. And so we did get, let's see, we got Starved Rock, the Speedway, featured in the fall Mini Abe spots, and then there's a current online ad with Bill Curtis and Mancations, and those are only done online, trying to target men and have men make more of the travel decisions. And we did get the Speedway featured there, so I'm going to show you that one as well. Has everyone seen Mini Abe? Do you want to see a Mini Abe spot? Jan, you want to see a Mini Abe spot?
I die laughing every time. So.
Here's the State's Mini Abe spot, and this is the food one that's currently airing.
That wasn't the funniest one, though.
So this is the spot the state has created to promote tourism, and Mini Abe is the latest spokesman trying to create interest in Illinois, whether you like him or hate him. People are talking about Illinois in a whole new way, and the Mini Abe spots are, this one was in conjunction with the Illinois Restaurant Association and their 100-year anniversary, and highlighting some of the great restaurants that we have here in Illinois. The next one, though, is the Mancations with Bill Curtis.
Wild guess here, but Monday through Friday you drive what, a 4-cylinder? Well, on Mancation, you'll drive something that's not even remotely close to street legal. Easy. Calm down, baby.
Chicagoland Speedway.
In a minute.
Vacation!
So those are quick spots that are happening online, advertising through Sports Illustrated, Weather Channel, things like that, targeting men, trying to have men make more of the travel decisions. This is my favorite Mancation one. There's like
Some people think a mancation is something grown men don't need anymore. Those people would be called women, and they have womancations. But they aren't as much fun as mancations.
Vacation!
So whenever we can get Joliet highlighted in some of these state spots, it's wonderful. And as you can see, the Speedway was featured in some of those mancation spots. So that's it for me, City of Excitement. That's Joliet. We're continuing. We're about halfway through the campaign. We have some other print and online video that we're going to roll out later this summer. But I want to give you a quick update of where we were both internationally and then also with the local campaign.
Bob,
Any questions?
Great, Bob. Great job. Great job.
why did you skip the Billy Liemacher Mini Abe thing?
It's about 2 minutes long, and I was told I had 10, and I'm going over. Do you want me to show it? I can show it. Just to highlight for everyone.
All right, go ahead.
Just to highlight for everyone, to give you a context, the Illinois Office of Tourism, our director, the state director of tourism, her name is Jen Hosel. She gives out Lincoln Awards throughout the year to frontline people that make a difference in the travel and tourism industry. And this year at the Illinois Governor's Conference on Tourism, she recognized that she had a group of 25 people, and she recognized 5. So there were 5 categories, and she picked one person from each of those 5 categories. And our own Billy Liemacher from Joliet won one of the Lincoln Awards at the state conference. So very special night for us that we had Billy there with her kids, and we were able to recognize her at the state conference. Let me try to get back to it.
I'd just like to add one thing. These were put on by the state of Illinois. We had nothing to do with it. They were just very kind to include us
Correct.
in these. So love them or hate them, it's not our fault.
Exactly. So this is the mini Abe spot. This is kind of giving you a little bit idea about the award.
It was actually better the last time I saw it.
All right, maybe.
Well, I was looking for, oh, there it is, okay.
Receiving the Lincoln Award for promoting Bicentennial Park for over 40 years. Show 'em with her table mates. Yes, that's me with the hat. Hello, Billy. Long time no see.
It has been a long time, and have we ever been busy down here? We've had so many festivals and shows, and the most important one is the Festival of Gnomes in December.
Well, Grandma Gnome, tell me what else you have throughout the year.
Well, you know, I'm 92 and I'll be 93 in May, so we have a lot of things going on. We have concerts on the Hill every Thursday night, June, July, and August. We have guided tours, wonderful guided tours about the information that was here. We have festivals. We have so much that's going on here.
Billy Liemacher Bicentennial Park in downtown Joliet.
But for complete information, go to but for more information, why, on your computer, go to www.org. Bicentennialpark.org.
My hat's off to Grandma Gnome, Billy Liemacher.
So we just wanted to commemorate Billy's award this year. She was 1 out of 5 people recognized in the whole state for her tourism initiatives and service to visitors, and we're pretty proud of that, having one of the award winners here in the Heritage Corridor region, and certainly coming from Joliet.
Very good.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Bob, for that presentation.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And also, if anyone wants to see any of the magazines, the Chicago magazines or the others, the committee of Mrs. Gavin and Larry Hugg, we have copies of those if anyone wants to see them, because they actually did put them in print. But I have to say, you know what, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, and we were in Times Square, New York, so that was great. Now, unfortunately, the rest of the meeting I had to leave, so I'm going to ask Councilman Hug or Mrs. Gavin if they'd like, or Councilwoman Gavin. I keep forgetting that.
Your Honor, could I make one comment about this before? You know, Bob, I just want to say this, that's probably the finest presentation I've seen promoting the city of Joliet, and I thank you for it. Some years ago, I served on the Heritage Corridor Board before your time, and I just want to say that you and your staff and your organization has just brought this organization to a whole new dimension, and I think it's a great presentation. I really appreciate the things you're doing.
Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I've worked very hard. Thank you.
Betty, did you want to go say anything?
Go ahead, Larry.
All we did for the rest of the meeting, I mean, this is a tough act to follow. We did go over, well, frankly, we went over a couple of projects with the CTS. The most important one being, as far as updating, was the new payroll system, and we're assured that we're on schedule and going along smoothly, right, Jim?
That's right.
Okay. The other thing we covered was, we did discuss on our website as we continue to try to expand the city website, and it's come a long way since 2011 for transparency and exposure. But the photos are rather static, so we've come up with it's not a huge thing, but a policy that starting out monthly, we'd like to see the featured pictures on our homepage, on our website, be some of the most recent events that happened in Joliet. So we can tell people that this is what happened last week or 2 weeks ago, and that we would encourage, at some point, when we get to that point, we would encourage citizens to maybe send in some photos that they think are Joliet-centric. And that's basically what we had for the rest of the meeting.
And I would like to add, those new photos are on the website. Oh, I'm sorry, Betty.
No, I just said the councilman covered that right.
Okay.
Perfect.
And that concludes our report. Thank you.
Land Use Committee report?
Yes, Your Honor, the Land Use and Legislative Committee, we met June 17th here in the council chamber. Myself, Councilwoman Gavin, Councilman Jim McFarland, along with staff, Alfredo Malesio, Jim Hallard, Kendall Jackson, and Jeff Plyman was in attendance. We were given a presentation, which I believe will be before the council this evening, of the membership of the South Suburban Land Bank by Mr. Ryden, I believe it was Russell Ryden. He gave the presentation, and the committee unanimously approved that to come before the city council for approval this evening. Also, Kendall Jackson, he brought before us again the donation box, which had been before the Land Use Committee, Legislative Committee before, and it was just some verbiage that needed to be changed, and a couple other items, I believe, that in the ordinance, and that would be brought before the full council. It won't go back through Land Use or Legislative Committee again, and it was again, the language, and I won't go all into that, but it will be brought before, I believe, Jim, how, in a month or so, maybe at our next meeting, and then you'll see the entire ordinance at that time. We also approved to come before the full council tonight of the honorary street sign for Mr. Rogina, way that would be downtown. Mr. Grueling from the CED, he was there to present the honorary street sign request before the committee. Also, Alfredo Malesio, he updated us on the Fair Housing Action Plan and went over some items concerning fair housing here in Joliet, as well as discussing the city lot disposition. These are lots adjacent to property owners that may be too small to build homes on, and the city staff is working with lot owners that live adjacent to these lots so they could purchase the lots if they so desire at a reasonable fee. I believe that's all I have. I don't know if Councilwoman or Councilman McFarland want to add anything.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
That's great.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did a great job.
Public Service Committee report?
I'm sorry.
Mr. Mayor, I have a comment. I was in attendance at that meeting.
Sure.
And you kind of glossed over one important thing. As a matter of fact, didn't even mention it. Councilman McFarland brought up the issue to bring to the committee about a recall ordinance. Councilwoman Gavin, yourself, Councilman McFarland also discussed a job description for the council people and for the mayor. That was discussed in that meeting. The minutes do reflect that.
The videotape does reflect that, and I want a clear understanding that this is your mission on that committee to get this done. Mr. Hug asked for this to be done on February 18th for a job description, never was done. I sent a letter on July 17th at the end of that meeting at 10 o'clock at night or sometime after, stating that, going over the facts that was discussed that afternoon. And I asked for somebody to get back to me as to what the next steps are that's going to take place with the legislative committee to follow up on his request, Mrs. Gavin's request, and we got Councilwoman Gavin's request. Just there. You got me doing it. In regards to a job description. New person on the council said, I can never recall ordinance if I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Very good point, obviously. Councilman Girl, last meeting, you direct the city staff to have job descriptions drawn up for the personnel and so on, and I like that. I support that. But I would suggest that we clean your own house first and have a job description for your position of council and and the mayor's position. Now, you told me you were going to do this, and I think it's time to get it done. It's in a committee. Let's not gloss over it, folks. It's before you. It needs to be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, yes, we did discuss that under old or new business, and I failed to mention anything that we discussed under old or new business, but since the meeting, I did speak to City Attorney Plyman about that, and he's getting some information together, and I guess he spoke with you since that meeting.
The day of the meeting.
The day of the meeting. Well, he told me he had spoke with you. He didn't say if it was the day or before or after, but I spoke with him after the meeting, and he said he spoke with you. So I really didn't, intentionally not mention that. I was really waiting on Attorney Plyman to, give us further direction on that.
Thank you. Krista?
Public Service Committee report.
Your Honor, the Public Service Committee comprised of Councilwoman Gavin, Councilwoman McFarland, and myself met at 4:45 yesterday afternoon prior to our pre-council meeting to discuss the contracts, change orders, pay estimates, final payments, the ordinances and resolution found to be all to be in order and recommend their approval. We also met with a couple of neighbors from the Kerwin Terrace subdivision who are experiencing sewer backup, and although the city has made great strides in the last 20 years in separating the sanitary and stormwater out of the sanitary sewer, there are still some areas that are getting backup, and even a moderate rain like last night would cause that. So the staff gave a presentation on what their goal is to alleviate that in a time frame, and they seem very satisfied, and we will as things develop, we will have more reports on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I show no other reports. Under presentations, the EMS Recognition Award will be rescheduled for a later date.
Okay.
We've already listened to Bob Navarro in his presentation, so next will be consent agenda. Approval of minutes. It's recommended the minutes of the combined council meeting held on June 16, 2014 stand approved as recorded. Council Memo 287-14, regular payroll for May 16th through May 29th, 2014, $3,131,280.88. It is recommended said regular payroll be approved. In Council Memo 288-14, position vacancies, it's recommended the city manager be authorized to fill one foreman position in the Fleet Services Division and subsequent vacancies. Is there a motion to approve consent agenda items? It's in motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Odekirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Mayor Girani?
Aye. If there is no objection, I see Bob Rogina's family here. Maybe we can move that presentation up. If there's no objection.
We'll move to, under resolutions, Council Memo 297-14. It's a resolution approving an honorary street name change to Bob Rogina. I believe Mr. John Grueling is here to say a few words.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council, staff, and citizens present. Last December, the Will County Center for Economic Development recognized Robert Bob Rogina by awarding him the first ever Frank Turk Jr. Business and Community Achievement Award for his dedication and service to the Joliet and Will County community. Sadly, on February 28th of this year, we lost Bob. And in losing Bob, we lost a great community friend, a partner, but more importantly, we lost somebody we could always rely on. As long as I've known Bob Regina, he was somebody that I could go to as a beacon, somebody that could share his experiences with me and led me as a newcomer to the community in a way that no other mentor could possibly have done. Bob worked tirelessly for the Joliet community, serving the Joliet Rotary Club. He was a life director for the Will Grundy County's Home Builders Association, past chairman of the board of directors of the Three Rivers Manufacturers Association, campaign chairman of the United Way of Will County, chairman of the board of the directors of the Will County for the Center for Economic Development, chairman of the Governmental Affairs Committee for the CED, Will County Community Foundation member, University of St. Francis board member, chairman of the Cornerstone Services Board, vice chairman of the Will County Metropolitan Exposition and Auditorium Authority, and chairman of the Silver Cross Hospital Foundation. I know nobody else with credentials in this community like Bob Regina, and I'm sure all of you would agree. We at the CED were struggling with how to honor Bob. We've named our board room in our offices the Bob Regina Boardroom, and it's got a nice little plaque, and we can move it if we happen to move locations. But we wanted something a little more permanent, and after discussing with Jim Hock and some of you, the naming of Van Buren Street, East Van Buren Street, between Chicago and Scott Street, as Bob Regina Way, we thought that would be a most appropriate honor and recognition of Bob. So I'm formally asking for approval of this resolution tonight, and I certainly would recognize a number of Bob Regina's family in the audience. I don't know if they want to make any comments, but why don't you all stand up?
Stand up.
Come on. Thank you for consideration of this request. Thank you.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Krista?
Been motioned and seconded to approve the resolution. Councilman Hug.
Folks, very sorry for your loss. Thank you for sharing him with the city of Joliet for so many decades, and I vote aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Odekirk.
Congratulations to his family. I vote aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
City of Joliet has lost a terrific person, not only in business, but in friendship, and also nobody loved the City of Joliet more than Bob and the Rialto. He did a fantastic job over there, and I served on the board with him for many years. It is a great loss, but this is a great honor for him, and I know he'd be upset knowing that we're doing this for him because he never wanted recognition for anything, but of course, I'll vote aye as well.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
With pleasure, aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Mayor Girani.
Well-deserved aye. Bob was a classmate of mine at Joliet Catholic High, so I vote aye.
Motion carried. Under ordinances and resolutions, Council Memo 290-14, an ordinance approving an intergovernmental agreement with Metra in connection with the multimodal transportation project. It is recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved. Second.
Questions? Krista?
Been motioned and seconded to approve.
I'm sorry.
Clarification, please, on the one-third, the Metro station, the current station, Union Depot, is owned three ways, correct?
Yes.
Metra, Amtrak, City of Joliet.
Yes.
And in the fine print of the contract, it says we're going to take over the responsibility of the Metros, one-third of that for Union Station today. So we'll own two-thirds.
Well, this will be considered, once we approve it, it goes to the Metro Board on July 18th for their approval.
So then we have two-thirds of the financial responsibility to take care of that building. Is that what I'm understanding? Structure, roofs,
Well,
you know,
we do
outside
have
and stuff.
certain responsibilities right now, even though we don't have total ownership. But eventually, we will have total ownership as well.
What's the additional cost for us to maintain that building? You know, it's a historical building. We can't do anything with it. We can't get rid of it, obviously. But what's the additional cost to the city to maintain this building down the road?
That remains to be seen, number one. Number two, we were over, when they had a restaurant and a tavern down there, that lease come to us. The person that leases it now for the wedding receptions and so forth, that is with us. So we have pretty much control of it now. And it's nothing new as far as what it's going to, a cost to us, because if there's a bad roof now, it's
We
our...
paid a full bill rather than a third.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure I understood it right.
Mayor?
Yes.
And if I might clarify, Mr. Sheridan? Yes. It was a good question. Prior to Mr. Hawk getting here, I believe it may have been Councilwoman Quillman who would ask for an analysis for maintenance on both the old Union Station and the new multimodal. So maybe it got lost in the transition, but I'm still waiting for that analyzation so that we can build, and I think we all agreed, without taking a formal vote, that especially with adding the larger, much larger multimodal, we need to have a maintenance budget. We need to have that in our budget. So, Jim, you weren't here when we talked about it, so I apologize. So I wanted to clarify that for your sake, but also, now you might say, oh, thanks, Larry, and thanks for telling me at this late date. But if we can get somebody to give us some kind of an analysis of maintaining both the Union Station and the new multimodal,
well, we
can have an idea of what we're going to do in each budget over a 5-year period.
The good news is that both the bus station and the new train station will be new buildings. And as you see in this agreement, the day-to-day cleaning, maintenance, upkeep will be Metro's responsibility. We will have heating, cooling, and you're right, capital improvements, but hopefully it'll be 10, 12 years before we need to look at any kind of capital improvement in new constructed facilities.
And I will cross my fingers with you, but by the same token, I don't want to see upwards of 500,000 to $1 million sneaking up on us at the multimodal like it has at the ballpark, because we don't have a maintenance budget that's actually in the budget, and we can carry it over. So I really, and I don't know if anybody disagrees with me, would like to see that analysis and a budget. And this is the first you've heard of that from me or anybody up here, so I apologize. You may remember it was prior to Mr. Hawk getting here that we discussed it. Am I correct, Councilwoman?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
On a side note, I did discuss this with the new city manager when he first came, and I believe, again, everyone keeps calling it a capital, part of the capital budget, but again, as I stated before a couple years ago, and since then, we need a maintenance budget into our regular budget, something different from capital, because capital to me is other buildings and other things that we do, but maintenance, everyone has a maintenance budget at home. And it's different from your building repair budget. And you can all go under the auspices of capital budget, but for me personally, since the ballpark has really, as Councilman Hugg said, gotten away from us, we could have been doing maintenance all along, but we didn't because it wasn't part of the capital budget. Because you have to budget for these repairs, so that's why I asked for that. So as I would agree with Councilman Hugg as far as, I don't want to see a big bill coming later on down the road for something we let go. Because you don't let your home go. You just plan as you go along. You do this one year and this 1 month or the next month. It's seasonal. So I'm glad you brought it up again because we do need that. Whether you agree with it or not, we need to, whatever you want to call it, but I think the umbrella of capital budget, the maintenance gets lost.
Mr. Sheridan, as far as your question, we have been maintaining Union Station as it is. We took some employees from By Park and sent them over there. They had to refinish some doors and they had some patching to do, and we have been maintaining Union Station all along. So, where are we at?
It was motioned and seconded to approve. It's okay. Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hugg?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 291-14, an ordinance approving the reapproval of the preliminary plat of Clarius Park Joliet subdivision for an additional 3-year extension. It is recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Is there a second?
Yeah.
Something,
Motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hugg?
Aye.
Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani?
As you stated yesterday, this is just an extension, no changes.
That's right.
I vote aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 292-14, an ordinance approving the preliminary plat of Rock Run Business Park, IDI, re-subdivision number 2, and an ordinance approving the recording plat of Rock Run Business Park, IDI, re-subdivision number 2. It is recommended said ordinances be adopted.
Mayor, I had a couple questions on this last night.
Mayor, if I can address the questions that Councilman McFarland raised last night.
Okay.
Yes, we do have an economic incentive agreement with the developer going back to July last year. It does provide a rebate of the hotel motel tax for up to 10 years. It does provide $165,000 credit towards building permit fees and development impact fees, and a unique feature, rather than a food and beverage tax, to address the concerns of neighboring restaurants, we said that they would get up to a $35,000 rebate on the home rule sales tax for any expenditure that they purchase supplies from Joliet, brick manufacturers or lumber yards or wherever they buy products to actually put into the building and provide us with those receipts. We'll give them a rebate up to $35,000 on those purchases.
Correct.
Dividing the property will not make any difference in this agreement. And if down the road the developer owner wants to sell a property, it's up to the city whether or not we want to transfer these benefits in this agreement that you approved onto that purchaser.
All right, so just one more. It answers my question. That was my concern, is the, again, I don't know if the developer's here or not.
He is.
How are you? I guess the concern was dividing the property. The rumor out there was some financing issues, so you wanted to do it in 2 phases. I guess the reason why I voted to go to an abatement up to $2.4 million is because we were going to do a whole complex. We're doing 2 hotels and a possibly 700-person banquet facility. I have reservations giving $2.4 million abatement on just 1 hotel and a banquet facility. So long as the scope of the project doesn't change, I have no problem with this. I just want to make sure that if the financing's not capable for the second franchisee hotel, that the developer's not selling that off and basically getting another $2.4 million on that parcel of property. Again, it's the taxpayers' dollars. So I think you answered my question. So if the second parcel is sold off, they'd have to come back to the city for any type of abatements?
That's true.
Okay. I'll motion to approve.
Mayor?
Yes.
Mike? And I've been thinking about it too since Councilman McFarland brought it up. So let me just be clear on this too. And I'm sure, sir, you will build 2 hotels and a conference center for 600 or 700 people. Should they opt to sell off the other property and only wind up putting the 1 hotel, which is part of the project, and the conference center, they don't get the full $2.4 million at that point, do they?
No.
How do we divide it? I don't think we've covered
that comes back to council. They violated the agreement, and it's null and void until we sit down and work out something else.
So our $2.4 million projected possible incentives is based on 2 hotels as they outlined to us with a conference center connecting them.
That's right.
Thank you. I'll second it.
Okay. Krista?
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Odekirk.
Those are good questions, good answers. I vote aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
I vote aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Great questions. To it, I vote aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Mayor Durrani.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 293-14, an ordinance approving a special use permit to allow a medical cannabis dispensary within an existing tenant space of an existing building located at 1627 Rock Creek Boulevard. It is recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So move.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Good luck to you. Aye.
Councilman Hug.
I think you are the most patient group of people I've met in a very long time, friends. I vote aye.
Councilman McFarland.
I vote aye, and good luck working with the state.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye, also good luck.
Mayor Durrani?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 294-14, an ordinance approving a special use permit to allow a transportation trucking company in an existing warehouse located at 2439 Reeves Road. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So move.
Second?
Questions?
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 295-14, an ordinance declaring certain properties as public nuisances. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second?
Questions?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani?
Aye.
Motion carried. Under resolutions, Council Memo 297 was previously approved. Council Memo 298-14, a resolution authorizing reimbursement of expenditures for the West Side Interceptor Project and West Park Front Pumping Station Replacement Project with proceeds of future revenue bonds. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Mayor?
Yes.
I'd just like to mention, last night Councilman Hug was pointing out that I just want to reiterate that we're going to use Spear Financial Group and the bonding attorney firm of Chapman and Cutler, and then we had Bernardi Security come to the Finance Committee to be the ones to market the bonds because they felt that they could get lower rates by marketing to local banks and here in Will County. And we will keep the Finance Committee advised of the process here, but we'll be moving forward August and September in issuing these bonds.
This motion and seconded to approve. Any other questions? Are we ready for them?
I don't see any, no.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 299-14, a resolution appropriating additional funds for engineering services for the 129th Infantry Drive roadway improvement project. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Questions?
Motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 300-14, a resolution appropriating additional funds for engineering services for the 129th Infantry Drive roadway improvement project. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Second?
Questions? Krista?
In motion and seconded to approve, Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 301-14, a resolution appropriating MFT funds for the Route 59 roadway reconstruction and traffic signal installation project. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Questions?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 302-14, a resolution approving an agreement with the Illinois Department of Transportation for Phase 2 engineering of the Caton Farm Road over the DuPage River Improvement Project. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Questions?
In motion and seconded to approve, Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 303-14, a resolution appropriating funds for the Phase 2 engineering for the Caton Farm Road over the DuPage River Improvement Project. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Questions?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk.
Aye.
Mayor Durrani.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 304-14, a resolution approving an agreement with the Illinois Department of Transportation for Phase 1 engineering of the Abe Street over the Spring Creek Improvement Project. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So move.
Second?
Questions?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Mayor Durrani.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 305-14, a resolution appropriating funds for the Phase 1 engineering for the Abe Street over the Spring Creek Improvement Project. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second?
Questions?
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Mayor Durrani.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 306-14, a resolution appropriating funds for the construction of the Washington Street over Spring Creek Improvement Project. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So move.
Second. Questions? Comments? Krista?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Mayor Durrani.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 307-14, a resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement and appointing a local government director to the South Suburban Land Bank Development Authority. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So move.
Second.
Questions?
I have one, Mayor.
Sure.
Jim, just to clarify, when it talks about being able to partner for grants and so forth and projects, once we become members, this in no way, shape, or form, we don't have to start sharing our community development block grants or anything. This will
No.
be new grants that we couldn't get without being in the organization.
That's right.
Thank you.
And it does not give them a right to acquire any of our properties that, you know, we decide we want to do that on our own.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
Krista?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
I think this is a great capacity builder for us. Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Mayor Durrani.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 308-14, a resolution authorizing the sale of city-owned property. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So, second.
Questions?
I'd just like to make a quick comment. I'd like to thank our city manager, and Alfredo. I don't think he's here, but the idea that we've instituted here of taking lots that we've been maintaining for years and putting them back on the tax rolls is phenomenal. So I applaud junior staff to get these back on the tax rolls.
Motion and seconded to approve. Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Mayor Durrani.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under bids and contracts, award of contracts. Council Memo 310-14, purchase a replacement motor for well 30D. Council Memo 311-14, award a contract for the well 10D rehabilitation project. Council Memo 312-14, approve the repair to the well 16D motor. Council Memo 313-14, award a contract for the West Park Front Pumping Station Replacement Construction Project. Council Memo 314-14 was removed from the agenda. Council Memo 315-14, award a professional services agreement for Phase 2 engineering services for the Caton Farm Road over the DuPage River Improvement Project. Council Memo 316-14, award a professional services agreement for Phase 1 engineering services for the Abe Street over the Spring Creek Improvement Project. Council Memo 317-14, approve construction funding for the Washington Street over Spring Creek Improvement Project. Council Memo 318-14, award a contract for the City of Joliet Police Station Roof Rehabilitation Project 2014. Council Memo 319-14, award a contract for the 2014 electrical materials purchase order. Council Memo 320-14, award a contract for the 2014 exterior maintenance non-city-owned property. Council Memo 321-14, administer mandatory annual fire department physicals. It is recommended Council Memos 310-14 through 313-14 and 315 through 321-14 be approved.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Krista?
Motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hugg?
Aye.
Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani.
Aye.
Motion carried. Amendments, change orders, and payments. Council Memo 323-14, request for authorization to approve payment for emergency repairs to well 16D. It is recommended Council Memo 323-14 be approved.
So moved.
Second.
Questions?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hugg?
Aye.
Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under licenses and permit applications, Council Memo 325-14, issuance of a Class E liquor license at 79 North Chicago Street. It is recommended the Blue Taco be issued a Class E liquor license.
Just a comment, last night at the meeting, it was stated that it's beer and wine. It's not beer and wine, it's a full license. So just a correction, so everybody knows. It's a E license, which is downtown restaurant, which allows them a full license.
So moved, Your Honor.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Coleman?
I have to say, if you haven't gone to the Blue Taco down on Chicago Street, you must make it a stop, because these aren't just your regular tacos like you think meat and potatoes. These are infused with different kinds of flavors and fruit and peppers, and you have to go down there. And I'm glad you're there, and welcome, and I wish you much success. I'll vote aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Good stuff. I vote aye.
Councilman Hugg?
And Shields, I heard wonderful things about the Blue Taco. And the earlier group that was here with the dispensary has nothing over on you, Mr. Jabara. You two are very patient too, obviously. So aye.
Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani.
And we will try to have more downtown festivals for you. I vote aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 326-14, an issuance of a Class C liquor license at 120 South Larkin Avenue. It's recommended American Liquors of Joliet be issued a Class C liquor license.
So moved.
Second.
Been
Questions?
motion-
Krista?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hugg?
Mr. Jabara is a very, very important businessman, a very committed businessman to District 1. So glad to see you're doing throughout the city too. Aye.
Councilman McFarland?
I'd like to say thank you for the improvements on the property, the striping and the seal coating of the parking lot, along with the new fence around the garbage dumpsters. I vote aye. Thank you.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next, under Mayor Durrani appointments.
I have none this evening.
City Manager, no report.
No report.
Next is new business, not for final action or recommendation.
I'll start. Couple things. First one, I would like staff to come back and see what we can do with the city-owned property off Cedarwood Drive. I got a couple phone calls from folks that visit the park over there with all of our, I don't know if they're non-operable vehicles. When you drive by or you walk through the park, you see a bunch of stuff that looks like junk. So I think if we make our residents clean up their properties, I think we should do so also. So if we can get a report back on what we can do, whether or not we move them behind the building where you're driving by or playing in the park, you can't see them. The second thing is there was a follow-up article in the Times Weekly last week regarding the fire hydrants and how many are out of service, and there's really been no clear answer to exactly how many are out of service. Myself, last couple weeks I've been driving different parts of the city, and I went off the original list that was given to the council along with the media, and I found an additional 23 hydrants that are inoperable that were not on the list. And maybe the chief or Jim, you might want to comment on this, but from what I've read, and I like to get it from the horse's mouth, which is the professionals here, is why can we not test all fire hydrants citywide. It looks like the testing comes from the comments in the press that it's per fire station where you go and you test an area. Since we do not have an exact number, how many are inoperable, and there's conflicting amounts, I would like to see that we make it a priority that we test every hydrant within the year to see if they work or not, and then start your rotation base. I know that I've been given information that we have water on a truck. To me, it's unacceptable. I want a hydrant that's on my block working, and I think every resident in Joliet deserves that. And I'm sick of being railroaded with correct answers to my questions. And I'm asking this council to make a direction to have every hydrant tested and put a plan in place to correct them and to fix them. If we spend $12,000 to fix a net to make sure that nobody gets injured at the ball diamond, we should be able to spend money to make sure a fire hydrant works for our residents if a home or something's on fire. And if this council doesn't want to do that and staff doesn't want to do it, I am asking every resident to contact your council member to make sure that we make it an issue that our fire hydrants are tested.
Joe, you want to answer that, Chief or Jim?
Yeah, let me start. Councilman, we are currently testing hydrants in Station 7's area and Station 9's area. Jim, you can jump in here and help me out, but I think that's probably about 2,000 hydrants right there that we're currently testing. When we get into the summer months, the hot months, we've been kind of lucky with this spring, with the and early summer here, with all the rain that we've gotten. But traditionally, when we get into the dog days of the summer, we do not test hydrants because the water levels get low. But we are getting 7s and 9s out of the way, and then our plan is to continue working. But if we do have to take a hiatus through the summer, the plan will be to come back then and test, I believe it's Station 6, Station 8, and Station 3 in the fall. So we are going to be testing 5 of the 9 run areas this year. And then next year we will go back and test the hydrants in the remaining 4 areas. And what we do is we have a plan and we rotate testing of hydrants so that what we want to do is we want to flow test where we put a gauge on our hydrants. We want to try to get all of those flow tested once every 4 years, and that's when we look at the actual flow, and if we have to, we change the colors on the bonnets, but we want to flush all the hydrants on every 2 years. So we want to try to get half the city 1 year, half the city the next. That's always been our goal with our flushing of the hydrants. When we flush the hydrant, we open them up, we clear out the main. That's when we purge the rust out of the system. Many of the residents will contact us then for dirty clothes. Their clothes that have been in the wash machine, they could get stained with rust. We'd supply them with rust away to clear that up. So that's our plan. We've always tried to test half the hydrants every year. Mr. Horn, in his article, he did reach out to me. There was a year 2012 when we got off track because of the heat that year. We were only able to test the hydrants in Station 5's area. I think that was a very unique year.
Hot summer.
It was a hot summer, so that's the plan from the fire department. We did meet today with Jim's group to go over what our plans are for the remainder of this year, and then going out basically for the next probably 5 or 6 years with a rotation. And
The areas that they're testing right now, we just met for the first time today to kind of review that. We still haven't gotten an update for the new hydrants that have been placed on the list. So effectively, with the flushing that's been going on this summer, the list is going to be growing. And once we review those locations, we'll have an opportunity to address those with our crews, for servicing the hydrants. Sometimes they're simple repairs. Sometimes, we need to dig it up and replace it and put a new fire hydrant in there. That's really for, the water department crews to come in there and make that evaluation after we get a report back from the fire department that, the hydrant's not operating properly. As for, the flow testing, It is valuable information for us as we do improvements on the water system. You know, we do take a look in the areas where we get low flow out of fire hydrants, and that tells us, especially in the older neighborhoods, you know, that there's a need to increase the size of the water main to provide, you know, better fire flow ability in those neighborhoods.
So with the 8,460 hydrants that the city has, how many are you projecting they have tested for this year?
4,000, 4,500. Like I said, about half of the hydrants will get tested this year.
And these are going to then be new ones tested prior from 2013, different ones, or?
Yes, different hydrants. What we do is we'll test these this year. As I said, Station 7, Station 9 are being done now. In the fall, we're going to go back and get Station 6, 8, and Station 3. Station 3 we had started on earlier this year, but Jim experienced a well problem, so we suspended testing on that because of the pump. I believe that, I think you ordered that tonight.
That's the well out by Centerpoint facility. Since that's a major water supply in that area, we had a motor failure on that, and until that well is placed back in service, we're postponing the testing in that area. And then we'll be able to, you know, get valuable information as far as flow data.
So you're saying summer we can't do it because of the water restrictions?
Well, it all depends. I mean, if we have a mild summer, we're going to continue working, and after they finish 7s and 9s, we'll start in on 6s and 8s if it's a mild summer. But traditionally, the summers get...
When we get into a critical supply situation, and that's based on wells that we have in operation and our ability to fill our elevated storage up at nighttime, you know, that's demand increases over the summertime with people, whether they water lawns. You know, granted, with the downturn in development, you know, we don't have new sod installations that we're fighting with constantly, but still there's an increase in water usage during the summer months, and you know, that's part of managing the system, that we've got a limited supply of water that we can provide on a daily basis, and you know, that's one of the things that, you know, we do is to safeguard to make sure that the water is available. If we're in a situation where we don't have the reserve capacity on the supply, you know, we postpone fire hydrant, doing unnecessary flushing of the fire hydrants, and we do that to make sure that, you know, if there is an emergency, that we do have water available. There's one of the things that we're constantly fighting with, or you know, just one of the design conditions on opening and closing fire hydrants that creates a water hammer situation. There's always the story of, you know, closing the fire hydrant too quick, causing water main breaks, and if we're in a situation where, you know, we've tight on the supply, you know, having a major water main break and on top of it also, you know, creates a problem for us that we need to address in an emergency.
So in layman's terms, what we're saying is that our system will not allow us to test all the hydrants in a year's time. Is that what I'm hearing? We can't start in the fall? The issue here, again, is the fact that we do not know which hydrants work and do not work. We do not have an accurate count, right? That's the issue here. I want to come up with a solution to find out which hydrant works and which hydrant does not work. And I think that should be a priority. And I just keep hearing why we test some of this year's that we don't know which ones work. No more than 2 don't work in a row. We find out that there's some that are 2 that are not working in a row. I mean, I think we have a fiduciary duty to make sure that our fire hydrants work. And I don't know, you can come back with a plan, but I think we need to test our hydrants or do something to find out which ones work and which ones don't. It's sad that I can go around and find little saucers on hydrants that are not on a list, that are not working, that have not been tested in the station areas you're telling me about. I don't want to debate this all night, but it's an issue, and it's an issue that needs to be resolved.
You done?
I'm done.
I think he just says if we have a dry time of year in the summer and it's hot, they don't want to flow the hydrants because you're using the water.
The other misconception is, Jim, if you want to speak on this, Wayne was under the impression, I guess, that we could just send all our troops out, all 9 fire stations, opening up the hydrants and testing them all at once. Can you elaborate on what that would do to the system if everybody was out? What we try to do is kind of minimize the impact on the citizens too throughout the testing.
When we open up a fire hydrant full flow, especially on an area, that would be the fire hydrants that are labeled with the blue tape. It's 1,500 gallons a minute flowing out of the fire hydrant, and to get a representative and accurate flow information, that's open for a good minute or so, and then the time to slowly open it and slowly close it. If we had crews out there all on a timely basis, within the season, that's a big impact on the water system, and trying to, when we do the flow information or flow data, flow testing, we try to spread it out so there's no impact. We're getting a real clear representation of what the ability of the water system is at that point in the area. If we got too many crews out flowing fire hydrants side by side, you're going to create a pressure drop, unnecessary pressure drop in an area. You're not going to create accurate data as far as the ability, for that fire hydrant to supply water to that area. So that's why we go out with minimal crews. Right now, you got 2 separate crews out of each station that we're running. So there's 4 guys out there going around operating the fire hydrants, and they spread out, so they're kind of in different subdivisions when they're doing it. And with the timeliness, I mean, we could take a look at how many they get in a day and how long it takes. But it's always worked well for us in the past, and and if we get a direction that we need to test more, we can. But if it's a 100-degree day in the middle of summer and we're having trouble filling our elevated storage so we can provide people water during the day, I'm going to stop flushing fire hydrants because that's an unnecessary use of water.
And I'm not saying to test them in the summer. I think it's spring and fall when you test, correct? I don't think anybody's saying to start it in the summer. What I'm saying is we need a plan to figure out which hydrants work and which ones do not. I'm asking staff to come up with a plan in a timely manner.
Well, one of the tools that we're working with that I've discussed to the Public Service Committee that we're working on are GIS mapping. Working with the fire department, we've got all the fire hydrants mapped right now on the water map. And one of the tools that we're working with the fire department to improve the communication between our 2 departments is for the fire crews to have a tool that they can have access to the database, and they can update the information immediately when the fire hydrant is out of service, when there's a problem with it. They don't make the determination of what needs to be done to the fire hydrant. At that point, it comes over to the water department. We send crews out, and we'll operate the fire hydrant to make a determination. Sometimes it just needs to be taken apart and put back together and greased. Sometimes there's a major problem with it that it needs to be dug up and replaced.
Mayor, if staff could prepare maybe a little background on what standards we hold ourselves to in terms of industry standards and what our history has been and some of these details, and so that you can have a foundation for logical discussion to build on. Otherwise, I think we'll be here another hour talking about that foundation of information. So let us get that together and provide it to you, and then we can have an educated discussion further.
Yeah, and just to clarify, I want to know which fire hydrants work and do not work, and what is the plan of fixing them. This has been on the back burner for too long, and I will continue to bring this up every meeting until we have a plan in place and information that indicates which hydrants do not work, and we make sure they're repaired. I think it's a priority. Back to core services of what this municipality is about.
Joe, there used to be a list in each station of what hydrants were out in their area. Do they still have that?
Well, what we do, Tom, we keep those, we try to keep, some of the captains will update that in their rigs, but, I mean, realistically, with the rings on the hydrants, I mean, it's a visual when you pull up. The guys anymore in the vehicle, I mean, en route to the call, they are, you know, they're getting ready, they're checking the maps, that type of thing. What Jim is talking about doing with the new mapping software that will, our new CAD system is coming online in November, and it will have a mapping program on it. If we can get the mapping software that Jim his group is putting together with these hydrants, it will give us a visual cue in the vehicle as far as which hydrant is out, say in front of the residence, in front of the building, that type of thing. That hydrant will turn white, so that we will know en route that it's out. I mean, right now what we're doing is when we get there, if we pull up and we see the visual with the white discs on it, we either ask for the next in engine to lay us a line, or we go tag the next hydrant. Usually what we're doing is we're asking for the next in engine to lay us a line, so, because we keep that first engine in front of the house.
I do understand Councilman's concern, but I think realistically there will never be a time when all the hydrants are fixed. And having spent 22 years on the fire department and been to a few fires in my day, the first engine in usually drops the tank, next engine in lays to that engine from the hydrant, and I've never in all 22 years seen that first engine in run out of water before the second engine in got him more water. So I understand your concern, but I've never seen that first engine run out.
We'll have a plan for Councilman McFarland for the next meeting. Between now and then, we're going to continue to test our hydrants in Station 7 and Station 9's run area. Hopefully by the end of the next 2 weeks, we'll be finishing up in that area, and we'll be ready to move on to the next area. But we'll continue with that, and we'll have a plan for the hydrants for next week.
I have one more thing. And
Wait a
I
minute. Larry.
It was on your subject, Councilman.
Go right ahead.
First of all, I tend to agree. Chief, and I hope that citywide, through the CTIS committee, we're trying to make things more progressive and digital. We are in 2014, so I do agree we need to get GIS, and I'm even told there's smart, if you would, smart hydrants that can be purchased that self-monitor. We need to move in that direction. I agree with you 100%. I don't think a thumbtack and a list at each station, that's 1960. Yeah. With that said, my question from what Councilman McFarland brought up, we're going back some weeks now. I remember the number being, I want to say 190, initially 190 hydrants that we knew were not working. Is that correct, Jim? Where are we at now on that list, roughly? That we know aren't working?
I don't have the updated. I know the list got down to about 90.
90, was it?
At the lowest point, and then we started testing again and finding, adding new hydrants.
Now, of those 90 that originally came out when it was brought up by him, how many have been repaired in the last 5, 6, 7
I
weeks?
think the original list, I want to say it was about 145 in that range, and as we were working on those after the winter season, we got that list down to 90. I want to say. I don't have the exact number. I can provide that for you. And
so if we can track those 90, because I know we're going to be adding more as the Chiefs guys, keep testing. I'd like to keep track of where those original 90 are going, that we're making some headway, that 90 goes down to 70. I mean, if you come back next in 2 weeks or a month and tell us we're at 90, I want to know, is that the original 90, or did we fix 30 and you found 30 more? Can we kind of track it that way?
And that's one of the tools that we're trying to use with the new mapping is, so we can date when that fire hydrant gets placed on the list. I think one of the complaints is that, we've heard is, somebody saying that their fire hydrant's been out of service for a couple of years. I mean, just to make sure that we don't have one that keeps on, the list gets added to and hydrants are getting fixed, but There's one or two locations that, just are kind of skipped over because there's other critical locations. So that's one of the things that we'll be doing on our service orders, making sure that, we identify the hydrants that have been out of service the longest and make sure that those get serviced.
All right, so you'll kind of be able to keep track for that.
Yeah, that'll be something we'll be able to do.
And then, Mayor, in response, you made a good point. I don't claim to be a fire science expert, but as far as what the process is, if you walk up and you had said that, you don't think there'll ever be a day that they're all fixed, I think we have to strive for that day. You spend 22 years on the fire department, and I defer to your expertise as an insurance industry expert. You have to have a fire hydrant working within 500 feet, or your rate's going to be the same as rural Wilmington. If I insure you at $1,000 in Joliet with a working hydrant, and that underwriter finds out you don't have a working hydrant within 500 feet, you're at $2,500. So we have to strive. Fiduciary is a great word to use, Councilman. We've got to strive for 100%, because that's one of our most basic responsibilities to our fellow residents, is to make sure that not only they're safe when a fire happens, but even though only one in 1,200 people have a major fire, it also impacts their insurance rates. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to pay an extra $1,200 or $1,500 because my city's not fixing the hydrants. I don't want to go that route.
I never said we shouldn't strive. All I said was realistically there'll never be a time when all the hydrants are in service.
Well, then we agree. We'll strive for it, though.
We'll strive for it. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Okay. John, anybody else? Betty?
These council comments? Or?
Yes, comments.
Yeah, I just...
Oh, no, this is old and new business.
I have nothing.
Okay.
I was going to finish on this issue.
Wait a minute.
For the chief, sorry. I know there's a...
Excuse me, I was checking down here to see if you already had one bite at the apple. Let me check.
Same issue I'm talking about.
Go ahead.
All right. Chief, what is the formula? I know there's a formula that indicates that a structured fire that is X amount of square footage, it's so many gallons, X, Y, Z. Do we calculate that when we're going on a fire? I know there's set standards.
Yeah,
we keep going back to the fact that if a truck shows up, we could put out a fire, basically. That's what I keep hearing here. I mean, the mayor's comments saying, you never saw a truck run out of water. I know there's a set standard of how much water to put out a certain square footage, and I'm trying to look it up, structural fire, and how many gallons per minute flowing to extinguish a certain size. Do we have a set standard?
Sure, yeah. I mean, it depends on the amount of structure that's on fire, number one. Basically, a room and contents fire, we ought to be able to put that out, Councilman, with our 1,000-gallon that we have with us on the vehicle for, say, a 15 by 12 by 15 bedroom, that type of thing. I mean, there's no reason why we're not extinguishing that with our 1,000 gallons of water, probably 500 gallons of water. But what we want to do when we pull up to that structure fire is we want to have a static water source. So that's why we bring water with us on the engine, but we want to also hook up to a static water source, a hydrant, just in case we do run out of water and we do need, the assistance of the hydrant when we have people inside a structure fighting a fire. Now, what we would strive for would be the hydrants are color-coded, red, orange, green, and blue. The blue hydrants flow 1,500 gallons per minute or more. That would be what we would strive for to have in front of every structure, because that's going to be the maximum amount of water that we would be able to get out of a hydrant. The hydrants, the amount of water that you get out of a hydrant depends on the size of the water main. So to kind of compare your garden hose compared to, which is a small diameter, compared to a much larger diameter pipe. So in commercial areas, as Councilman Hugg was talking about for insurance and stuff, you're using larger mains to provide more gallons per minute flow versus residential areas. What we strive to hopefully not pull up in front of is a red hydrant, because you're only getting 500 gallons per minute or less out of a red hydrant. But most of our hydrants, and I would say we have a good fair share of red ones. You can still put a structure fire out with a red hydrant, but the problem with the red ones are some of them, there are some that are less than, that we pull less than 300 gallons of water out. So to have 2 hand lines out, 2 hand lines that firefighters are in the structure utilizing, you need about 300 gallons per minute. If we're going to be fighting a fire with a large master stream defensively outside the building, we're going to need at least 500 gallons per minute with that type of a fire. So it depends on how many lines we have off, how large the fire is. We can pull water from multiple sources too. I mean, it's not that we only have one fire engine hooked up to one hydrant for a fire. If it's a large commercial fire, we're pulling off of various mains, off of various hydrants around the building, not just one hydrant in front of the building. So when the plans and whatnot are set for commercial structures, residential structures, the size of the mains are all dictated at that point. What would be ideal for us would be to have a blue hydrant on every 250 feet to ensure, the greatest flow of water, but that's unrealistic. But I think we've got a good, water source in the city of Joliet. It's just a matter of us getting out and testing them, and we'll have a plan next meeting for you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? No. Comments? Mike?
I just wanted to say, Mayor, congratulations to all those who were in charge of and putting together Nitro Night. It was a great success, great crowd, and it was a big weekend in the city of Joliet. It looked like, along with the Park District, they were very successful in their Taste of Joliet, and I think they had a large crowd at the track also, so it was a very successful weekend.
I just want to remind people with the holiday weekend coming up with the fireworks and the firecrackers in the neighborhoods, make sure that your animals are at home secure. Don't let them outside because they can get spooked easily, and then you'll be looking for them, and unfortunately sometimes they get hit by cars. So I know you love your animals, so let's take care of them and watch the kids around the firecrackers and the sparklers and have a happy, safe 4th of July.
I would echo Councilman Turk's comments about being a great weekend. And specifically, congratulations to the Park District and Dominic Agizio. They did an incredible job. They managed 2 huge crowds, and they did it very well. Also, happy 4th of July to everybody. And I would also ask people to be mindful of your neighbors. Obviously, we know fireworks are illegal. We also know people shoot them off. But be mindful of what time you're doing it and that there are other people around you who may not be enjoying it. So, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I like to, I spent a couple of days out at the Chicagoland Speedway Route 66 with Scott Paddock and his staff, and I'd just like to congratulate them on a wonderful weekend. I heard that the taste was wonderful as well, and I'd just like to wish everyone a happy and safe holiday weekend.
Councilwoman?
I'd like to echo those sentiments in terms of my hats off to the Park District. I had an enjoyable time at the Taste, and that went off well. My husband, I understand, had a great time at the races as well. But I do want to wish everybody a safe holiday weekend. And firecrackers and fireworks, let's be careful with that. We know that they are illegal here, so let's be careful. And let's really stand down on the violence for this weekend.
No comments,
Larry.
First of all, I want to acknowledge the fact that the entire conversation earlier made me thirsty. Second of all, I want to thank, we're going to talk more water real quick, positive. Jim, you and your guys, Jim Egan, in the sewer and water department. I had a constituent who lived actually up the street from me, and they had a rotten egg smell in their water, and that's extremely important with 2 young children. They couldn't even drink it. When they first told me, I said, well, my water's fine. I do drink Joliet water. Jim, you guys were out there the next day. We talk about hydrants. You guys did something with the hydrants, and they tell me it's fantastic. They can drink it now, and you fixed it for them. So they thank you, and they wanted me to thank you, and I felt I would thank you and your crews publicly. With that said, I was at the Taste of Joliet, too. Went down for the Sammy Hagar concert on Friday night. Have to admit, I've never seen such long gray hair in one place for a long time, but that's our old rockers. But it was a wonderful night. I want to thank folks like Terry Darcy, ATI, Even our own Councilman Bob Odenkirk's law offices put out support for the Joliet Park District amongst several other businesses. So I feel it was a great success. And again, Dominic Aguizio amazed me, and I told him, you pulled it off again. Now let's see what you can do next year. On the heels of that, I don't have the dates with me, but I will at the next meeting. I do want to say that while our friends in the North and Plainfield do come to our fest, they're going to be having their fest now in July, and maybe we can return the favor, some of us, and go enjoy their fest. They put on a nice fest. At the next meeting, I'll have the dates. It's July 20-something, and I forgot to bring it with. With that said, have a happy and safe 4th of July. Be careful. And that's it, Mayor.
Thank you. Jim?
I'd just like to thank staff and the residents for their patience with the pothole filling. We do get your inquiries and your complaints, and we do put them in a nice list and try to prioritize them. But please have patience. I also would like to thank our sewer crew. I know we've had can you tell us exactly how many mains we had break over the winter? Is it somewhere upward over 200, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, I didn't have the exact count in front of me. It's over 200 for the repairs that the water crew fixed, and we count from December 1st through.
I just want a roundabout number so the residents know that we're out there diligently repairing those, so patience, please.
So from January 1st through the end of February, we had water main breaks on a continual basis. The crews were out long hours every day, and we'll give the guys a lot of credit for going out and plugging away and working on those in the cold weather. Give them a lot of credit. Thank you.
Yeah. I want to thank and congratulate Krista for all the hard work she did for the IHSA tournament. I know you spent a lot of hours out there. I've seen you out there and working hard, and thank you very much for what you did. Also, I got an email, I think we all did, from Scott Paddock, congratulating the police department on the great job they did with traffic. Got a lot of good reports back about that. Also thank the Joliet Fire Department and families. They went out and helped the Joliet Area Community Hospice spread their mulch. And on June 21st, the Joliet Area Historical Museum had a fundraiser. It was supposed to be outside on the rooftop. Inclement weather, was moved inside. Very nice. It worked out fine. I know I saw Councilwoman Kuhlman and her husband Tom, and Councilman Turk and his wife Kathy there. And lastly, thank you to all the volunteers to make the first Nitro Night a great success. It was a great night. First night in about a week we hadn't had rain, so it went off well. That's all I have.
Mayor,
Yes.
there's one item I think is appropriate. We all barely made it home last night before tornado sirens went off and torrential rain came down. So this morning our work crews were out there along with ComEd crews making repair. There are still a number of residents without power. They can go to a website called eoutage.com through the ComEd website to find out the status of their repair, and that's presuming they've got battery power and backup. But a lot of trees and limbs went down on private property as well. I just want to remind residents, and we'll have this up on our website tomorrow, that Waste Management will pick up branches as long as they're a certain length or in the appropriately labeled yard waste container or in the paper bags.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
The motion and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.